All right, let's talk about assignment number 8, which entails two things. One, identifying an argumentative stance that you can take, that you could then support in an essay of 2,100 to 2,800 words, which is a lot of writing. So you need to make sure, and this is the goal of the annotated bibliography, is there enough research out there? Is there enough information to carry your essay to that length? So it's a way to, number one, ensure that there's credible information out there, but number two, to ensure that you don't hit a wall at some point while writing the essay and start getting redundant or trying to pad the essay so that you can get at least the minimum requirement of the 2,100 words, right? So let's talk about these two things. Number one, let's go back. Let's take a couple of steps back to the rhetorical analysis. What was the point of that? To look and analyze a more knowledgeable other, a professional, to use something that somebody wrote as a mentor text, break it down. How do they use logical appeals? How do they use emotional appeals? How do they use sentence level technique like anaphora, hypophora, rhetorical questions, procatalepsis, stuff like that to achieve a certain purpose. Now let's talk about, can we apply some of those things from the rhetorical analysis to what you're being asked to do as a writer? So if it's an argument, your purpose right now is not to inform or entertain, it is to persuade. You are persuading someone to adopt your way of thinking, to agree with you on a topic. You're supposed to pull a thread from one of the TED Talks. It doesn't mean that you have to take the main argument that the speaker is making. It doesn't mean you have to take the main speaker's argument at all. Take their side. You can take the opposite side. That's the beauty of this. Can you just craft an argumentative thesis statement to show the side that you're on? There's a handout in the module about how to craft a quality thesis statement. So read that, write a quality thesis statement that clearly picks a side of an argument. You're going to make that argument. You need an annotated bibliography. So then start doing research. Go to UC's online library, start looking through the journals, start using keywords, start looking for anything that you can find that would help support your argument, because we know from the rhetorical analysis when we're talking about credibility, that credibility can come from your educational background, it can come from your work experience. But just like me, because I'm an English teacher and you're a student, we probably don't have the requisite background and education in order to be credible on, let's say, technology right now, social media, the impact of, maybe the sociological impact of technology, the negative psychological impact of social media. So if I'm not a psychologist, if I'm not somebody who's done my own research, if I'm someone who doesn't have a degree in one of those fields or has done any actual relevant, research, then my goal is to increase my credibility by referencing and quoting from more knowledgeable others. So that's your chance right now with the annotated bibliography. You need at least 5 sources. So 5 to 10 total, which means you need at least 5. You're going to do a works cited entry for each one. How's it going to look? Well, click on example and directions for an annotated bibliography. And I give you an example. I give you a works cited entry, and then I give you the annotation right beneath it that's color coded based on summary, evaluation, reflection. All 3 parts go in the annotation. Outside of that, I give you an example of a 3-source annotated bibliography so that when you pull that up, you have an example of how the document should be formatted. You need 5 to 10 sources, but if you look, the thesis is at the top, then there's a works cited entry, annotation, another works cited entry, annotation, a third works cited entry and annotation. That's what you're going to do, except you're going to have 5 total. So as we are working through assignment number 8, remember, this is still in line of the progression that we started at the very beginning of the year with rhetorical analysis, but now you are in the driver's seat. You are the author, you are the writer, you are like Barbara Ehrenreich or Ted Chiang. You are the one who is trying to achieve a certain purpose with your intended audience, and part of that is logical appeals, which this research is part of building your logical appeals to then build your credibility so that you're more persuasive, so that you can persuade your intended audience. All right, so to recap, you need 5 sources. You need a thesis, you need a works cited entry and an annotation for each of those 5 sources. Put them all in the same document so it looks like the example of the 3-source annotated bibliography, except you need 5 to 10, so a minimum of 5 sources. All right, I look forward to seeing what you come up with, and let's keep making progress.